What's going on, everyone? So this week I will be doing a special video. I'm going to have my picks, my predictions, and bets all wrapped into one video for UFC Vegas 44 Font versus Aldo. So I'll tell you what, since we have a lot of stuff to go over, I'm not going to bore you and say follow me on Twitter at Johnny K Picks or please like and subscribe to my channel. No, I will not do that. So let's jump into the recap of my picks and predictions for UFC Vegas 43, Tate versus Vieira. Okay, so overall I went 5-0. I picked Yanez, Yaya, Santos, Brady by decision, and Vieira by decision, all correctly. So I'm sure most of you will agree that Vegas 44 was a little lackluster. There was just a lot of okay fights. Most of them went to decision. I think there was only 2 finishes the whole card. But honestly, the fight of the night for me was Yanez versus Grant. So I'm not exactly sure how Grant got a 30-27 from one judge. To me, that's just insane. But Yanez clearly won that fight 29-28. And Santos definitely surprised me by submitting Wood. I knew she was a beast, but I'm not going to lie, I didn't think she was going to go in there and have her way with Wood, because Wood's a really good striker, and I thought she was going to be able to hold her own, but Santos just got her a couple times on the chin, and sooner or later it was a club and sub. And for Brady, it was a good win for him. He did what he needed to do to beat Chiesa. That was one of the fights that I was looking forward to, but it didn't really deliver, if you want to say. But like I said, he did what he needed to do. He got it done, and a win's a win. And then also Yaya and Vieira won. Wasn't too impressed with them either, how they won. Again, they got the job done. They did what they needed to do, but it was just a lackluster all-around card. Hopefully this week coming up for UFC Vegas 44, it'll be a lot better. Okay, so we got that out of the way. So now let's get to my picks and predictions for UFC Vegas 44, Font versus Aldo. So since I'm putting this video out a little bit earlier than usual, I did my best with the main card fights. I don't know, they keep changing the fights here and there, but I did my best guessing, and here we go. Okay, so the first fight I'm going to break down is Brendan Allen versus Chris Curtis. Allen is 17-4, 25 years old, 6'2" with a 75-inch reach. And Curtis is 27-8, 34 years old, 5'10" with a 75-inch reach. Alright, so we have Allen's third different fighter, and Curtis is taking this on a short notice. I actually liked Allen's chances against the other 2 fighters, and I still like his chances against Curtis here. So I'm going to pick Allen to win this one. So after watching Curtis fight Hawes in his last fight, I can confidently say that he was losing that fight until he knocked him on the chin that one time and Hawes just went down like a sack of potatoes. But he's going to have a little bit harder time this time because Allen's chin is more durable than Hawes, and I also think he's a little bit more well-rounded. I do think Curtis has the slight edge in striking, but he's very hittable. He averages 6.85 strikes absorbed per minute with a 55% defense. And I will say Allen's striking has improved, but honestly, there's one clear path to victory for Allen, and that's to get Curtis to the mat. Allen averages 1.29 takedowns per 15 minutes with a 45% accuracy. Although it does say on the UFC website that Curtis's takedown defense is 100%, I did watch a few of his earlier fights that weren't in the UFC, and he does get taken down very easy. So I think if Allen tries to take him down, it's going to be very easy to get him down. And when he does, I think Allen could potentially wrap up a submission or at least keep him down there in control for a little bit of ground and pound and wear him down. So with my pick, I'm going to pick Allen to win this one. Okay, moving on up the card, we got Clay Guida versus Leonardo Santos. Guida is 36-21, 39 years old, 5'7" with a 70-inch reach. And Santos is 18-4-1, 41 years old, 6 foot with a 75-inch reach. Okay, so we have our UFC Veterans Fight of the Night, and I'm going to say that Santos wins this one. Both fighters' striking is very similar if you look at the stats, but I'm going to say that Santos' striking is way more technical, and it's a little bit better as well. Not to mention, Guido's game plan in every one of his fights is to get his opponent to the mat. but it's not going to be easy because Santos's takedown defense is 89%. Another thing to note is Santos's submission game is pretty good as well. So if Guida does take him down, I believe that Santos could potentially get a submission from his back because Guido has been submitted 5 times in his career. So I do think this fight's going to play out mainly on the feet, and I do think Santos is the better fighter in this fight. So as long as Santos can stay up on his feet and strike against Guida, I think he's going to have a very easy time winning this fight. For some reason, I do think this fight's going to play out a little bit closer than it should, but I'm still going to say that Santos wins this one. All right, so here are the fights that I'm excited for. We have Jimmy Crute versus Jamal Hill. Crute is 12-2, 25 years old, 6'2" with a 74-inch reach. And Hill is 8-1, 30 years old, 6'4" with a 79-inch reach. Okay, so we have a very interesting fight here. Both fighters are actually coming off of losses that they got injured in. And both of them were pretty bad injuries, I might add. And I kept going back and forth on this one, but ultimately I did choose Crute to win this one. So I'm not 100% sure if either one of their injuries are going to play a part in this fight. But the one injury that I'm a little bit more worried about is Hill's. Because Hill is more of a striker, and I don't know if he's going to be super comfortable throwing that punch like he normally does. But Crute averages 4.26 strikes per minute with a 56% accuracy, versus Hill's 7.5 strikes per minute with a 52% accuracy. Defense-wise, Crute absorbs 2.71 strikes per minute with a 50% defense versus Hill's 3.6 strikes absorbed per minute with a 45% defense. So Hill's going to have the height and reach advantage against Crute, which is why I do think he's going to have the edge in the striking department, which is why I think it's best for Crute to go to his wrestling and get the fight to the mat. Crute averages just under 5 takedowns per 15 minutes with an 80% takedown accuracy, and Hill's takedown defense is only at 57%. So again, I think if Crute can get Hill down to the mat, which I really think he can, I think that's his clear path to victory in this fight. And while he's down there, I do think he can potentially get a submission just like Paul Craig did against him. And speaking of Paul Craig, just a little note, Crute did beat Paul Craig. So I don't know if you want to take that in account with your prediction or pick, but with all of that information, I'm going to say that Crute wins this one. All right, so we have co-main event time here. We have Rafael Fiziev versus Brad Riddell. Fiziev is 10-1, 28 years old, 5'8", with a 71.5-inch reach. And Riddell is 10-1, 30 years old, 5'7", with a 71.5-inch reach. So yeah, this is going to be a really good fight, a really close fight, and I had the hardest time picking who I want to win here. But after looking at all the stats and a little bit of tape, I finally decided that I'm going to choose Fiziev to win this one. Riddell averages 4.75 strikes per minute with a 53% accuracy, versus Fiziev's 5.34 strikes per minute and a 52% accuracy. So yeah, their striking is basically identical. Striking defense, Riddell absorbs 3.18 strikes per minute with a 54% defense versus Fiziev's 7.76 strikes absorbed with a 50% defense. So those stats right there, you may give a slight edge to Riddell on that, but either way, all those stats are very close. I don't think this fight's going to go to the mat, but if it does, Riddell's takedown defense is only 62%, while Fiziev's takedown defense is 100%. So for whatever reason, if Fiziev wants to try to take Riddell to the mat, I do think he could have some success. So maybe late in a round, if it's a really close round and he gets him to the ground, that's going to seal a round right there. Like I said, this is going to be a really close fight, but the one thing that I decided that I like more about Fiziev is his striking. Fiziev likes to mix up his strikes. He likes to use his legs a lot. He likes to go to the body. He doesn't just go for the headshots or anything like that. And his combos are really good. Riddell likes to use his hands more, so he's more of a boxer type. But that doesn't mean that he doesn't use his kicks, because he does. But he throws his hands more than anything. Ultimately, though, I do think this fight's going to come down to the third round. and whichever fighter wants it more, I do feel like that's who's going to win. So whoever wins the third round, I think is going to win this fight. So with my pick, I'm going to say that Fiziev wins this one. All right, guys, so main event time. Before I get into my last prediction, if you're enjoying my video so far, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button right now. Okay, so we have Rob Font versus Jose Aldo. Font is 19-4, 34 years old, 5'8", with a 71.5-inch reach. And Aldo is 30-7, 35 years old, 5'7", with a 70-inch reach. So this fight is going to be another fun, close fight that I'm excited to see. And once again, another tough fight to call, but ultimately I did pick Font to win this one. Font averages 5.58 strikes per minute with a 43% accuracy versus Aldo's 3.63 strikes per minute and a 45% accuracy. And striking defense, Font absorbs 3.57 strikes per minute and a 61% defense versus Aldo's 3.59 strikes absorbed with a 61% defense. So I'm going to go ahead and say it. Both fighters are really good strikers, but I'm going to slightly lean that Font is the more technical striker and he's a little bit better boxer. But I will say Aldo does like to mix in his kicks and knees, and he's a little bit more unorthodox than Font. I do see his fight playing out on the feet, but if it does go to the mat, Font's takedown defense is only 53% compared to Aldo's 91% takedown defense. What I will say though is if Font does get taken down, he doesn't accept being on the ground. So he tries to get up and he scrambles and reverses, and he does not want to be on the mat. So if this fight was a 3-round fight, I really think I would pick Aldo to win this one because he tends to tucker out a bit after the 3rd round. And that's when Font does his best work, is in the 4th and 5th rounds. The way that I see this fight playing out is I think Font's going to keep pressuring Aldo and make sure that he's on his back foot. And the longer the fight goes, I think it's just going to play in the Font's hands. I don't think Font's going to be able to finish Aldo. I do think it's going to go to decision, just like all the main events have been doing lately. But honestly, I wouldn't be shocked if Font does somehow get the knockout. But with my pick, I'm going to say that Font wins. Alright guys, so those are my picks and predictions for UFC Vegas 44. But wait, we are not done yet. Let's get into my bets for UFC Vegas 44 in 3, 2, 1. Okay, so I'm going to quickly recap the bets that I made for UFC Vegas 43. So overall, I lost a total of 0.71 units. I did hit both of my 2 fighter parlays of Santos and Brady and Godinez and Yanez. I will say though, I was this close of hitting my Hail Mary parlay again, and the only fighter that I messed up on was Lutz. I'll admit, that was probably a bad read on me. He really didn't come out how I thought he would, or I should just stop fading Sabatini because every time I pick against him, Sabatini wins. So, note to self, do not pick against Sabatini. I don't mind losing a unit or so, and I've said this before, I usually do the UFC betting for fun. It's not a main source of income by any means, so it's all entertainment. Remember, only bet what you can afford to lose. Alright, so here are my bets for UFC Vegas 44, Font versus Aldo. So this week, I'm going to keep it really simple. And with that being said, for my first bet, I have a 2-fighter parlay. I bet 1 unit on Todorovic and Menefield to win, and I got that at plus 149. So with Dushko, I'm still high on this guy, and I'm sure a lot of people already written him off for those last 2 outings, which I'll admit, he did not look good whatsoever. But in this matchup against Pitolo, I think this is a very good bounce back spot for him. So Pitolo's record is 13-8 in his career. And if we want to count his Dana White Contender Series win, he's 2-4 in the UFC. And not to mention, he lost 3 straight fights. I'm just going to come out and say it. I'm just not sold on Pitolo. He does have some power in his hands, and he's a decent striker. But his fight IQ ranks just above a trash can. And I really think that Dushko can take advantage of that, and he'll get the win in this one. Also, my beautiful wife is Serbian, and if I pick against Dushko, I'm going to have to answer to hers. So you know how that goes. And with Menafield, both of these fighters are really similar in styles and striking. But the one big difference is Menafield is way better on the mat. His wrestling is way better than Knight's. And Knight's takedown defense is an appalling 40%. And not to mention, he also was taken down 8 times in his last fight. So yeah, if Menafield can get the fight to the mat, it's going to be an easy win all night for him. Okay, so my next bet is another 2-fighter parlay. I bet 1.5 units on Crute and Santos to win, and I got that at plus 141. So I already went over these 2 fighters earlier in my video, but I really like Crute's chances if he can get the fight to the mat, which he shouldn't have any problems doing. And he's going to have the clear advantage on the mat there. And with Santos, if he can keep the fight standing, which I also believe he can do, he's definitely going to outstrike Guida to an easy decision. And my third bet is yet another 2-fighter parlay. I have a 1.5 unit bet on Morono and Font to win, and I got that at plus 149. So with Morono, I really like this guy. I like how he fights. He always pushes forward. He always throws strikes. He never quits. Gall is going to be the bigger fighter, but honestly, that's still not stopping me. Like I said, Morono throws more volume. He always pushes forward. And if by some chance Gall does take down Morono, I'm not scared whatsoever. So give me Morono. And with Font, I already went over this as well. But I think if he can win at least one of the first 3 rounds, I do think he's going to win rounds 4 and 5. So that would be the only little question mark that I have. Is Font going to come out and win 1 or 2 of the first 3 rounds? If he does, great. If not, oh well. And my 5th bet is a straight money line bet. I have a 1.1 unit bet on Fiziev to win, and I got that at minus 110. So again, I already went over this fight earlier in my video, but I do think this fight's going to be close, but I will side with Fiziev, and I do like his striking a little bit better. He tends to mix it up a little bit more with his kicks and his punches. He does go to the body. And Riddell just mainly goes for the headshots, and he just throws his hands. Like I said, it's going to be close, but I'm willing to take a shot at Fiziev at this price tag. And I do think he's going to come out ahead, just being the more active fighter, throwing the more volume. And last but not least, Johnny K's Hail Mary Parlay incoming. Like I said earlier, I was super close to hitting that one last time. So, disclaimer, I never expect to win my Hail Mary parlays. So if you want to follow me on my Hail Mary parlays, please don't be mad if I don't hit it. So again, I have a 6-fighter parlay. I bet 0.4 units on Santos, Morono, Font, Crute, Fiziev, and Menafield all to win, and I got that at plus 1691. So if you're wondering why I picked all these fighters, well, that just means that you didn't watch any of my video. So what I will tell you then is to go back and rewatch all of my video, and then you'll understand why I picked all these fighters. Please and thank you. Well, there you have it, guys. Picks, predictions, and bets all into one video. Can you ask for anything more? Please don't. On your way out, if you enjoyed my content, please go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button for me. As I said earlier, this is a special video this week, so I usually post 2 videos a week, but I'm only going to post 1. If you're on Twitter, go ahead and follow me at Johnny K Picks, where I'll post my bets and I'll also live tweet during the fights. If you choose to play any of my bets, good luck to you. Thank you everybody for watching. I hope you guys enjoy Vegas 44. And as always, happy fight night. I have a kitty in here. I have 2 kitties in here.